elections if you take, or Representation of People Act, or Election Commission of India, whatever you name it, it was also part and parcel of past. It is not that when they mentioned the syllabus, Representation of People Act, then it became important. In fact, before 2013, elections used to be important topic, let's say. So it is not important that whether they have mentioned in the syllabus. Rather, people give undue significance. They say Representation of People Act, this and that. Questions, if you talk, so questions have been asked from, let's say that Representation of People Act itself, question from that, Election Commission of India, electronic voting machine, that. So questions have been asked, if you see, regularly from this section. Okay. So they have asked questions related to Election Commission of India, related to Representation of People Act, defection. So most of the times they have asked questions, let's say defection and qualification of MPs, MLAs. As we were teaching, so we told we will teach this here. So qualification and defection and disqualification, that remained the most important because they ask repeatedly after certain interval. Then Election Commission of India has been asked at least 2 times. Like the way CAG is asked, similarly Election Commission of India is also asked. Then they have asked also electronic voting machines, that, and Representation of People Act, this. So at least a question is expected from elections, this we can say. Now what are the topics which are left that they have not asked, or we expect question from them? So we expect question. The questions which we expect, so it is itself expected question from this. It is itself expected question, let's say model code of conduct. Then it is also expected once it was debated that proportional representation, should we have proportional representation as against first past the post system. So this can be considered. Since Election Commission has been asked, we again expect a question, because Election Commission, there was a time that it held free and fair elections, but now again there is a lack of trust in Election Commission of India. So from that perspective, we expect a question, how to enhance the capacity and integrity. So from this perspective, we expect a question on Election Commission of India. This is also being demanded, Election Commissioners should be given equal status to Chief Election Commissioner, although we don't expect such a question, which is very small. But yes, you should know that it is also a proposed reform. EVM already they have asked, so it will be repetition when they would ask. Now, state funding of election is also expected. So we expect a question from state funding of elections. And state funding, so there are different types of, let's say that state funding, including, let's say, electoral bond, I guess, if they have asked. So we expect that state funding, it remains time to time in debate, or funding and elections, let's say. How, let's say, fundings and free and fair elections. So from there, let's say that it is one potential area of question. Right. Then, so far criminalization of politics, they have not asked. So we expect a question. It is a very, let's say, potential area for question, criminalization of politics, and its relation with democracy, election, free and fair, whatever they can relate. This we can find. So that can be another potential area of question. Then miscellaneous, these are all, let's say that expected topics again, which are less important, but they remain time to time in news. Let's say paid news. So whenever elections will come, so paid news debate will also be there. It is a topic every 5 years debated. So far they have not asked any questions. So we expect a question on paid news. So this and electoral reforms. Electoral rolls management, you know that at times it remains an issue because of some people name is not there, overlapping of electoral roll names, and migration of people, frequently people migrating here and there. So how we are reviewing the electoral rolls, etc., that can be one aspect. And recently now it is going on election commission and voter ID, and let's say which we can add with Aadhaar. So whether we can let's say that link voter ID with Aadhaar so that we can have elections, simultaneous holding of elections, and in simultaneous holding of elections it can help. So this is another emerging, let's say that development. And then finally, let's say we have talked about this called challenges of free and fair election. The new age means the age of social media, it is also a new development. So basically they can be considered also as new areas. And another we can include is called delimitation, which I have not written. You can do delimitation. So delimitation also you will find this. So these are, let's say that key topics which we can find from elections. Although let's say teaching all topics will be very challenging task. We will try to teach you maximum measure. Right.
There is no any criticism on weakness of election commission.
Yes, there is. That is what question has been written. Integrity problem. Means we cannot write in each head when we'll take, so there can be further, let's say, set of questions. But here, let's say that we have tried to write the macro things about that topic. But while dealing election commission, we'll deal various aspects of election commission. While dealing elections and proportional representation, we'll try to deal various other aspects. So one by one, we'll try to deal the major aspects, and some other I can just refer. This means whatever we'll talk on this. So let's talk on elections. First we'll try to give you general overview of elections, how it has been so far. Then so that you can get some clear views regarding elections. Then we'll try to deal basics. Right. For you have to study even more related to basics for prelims. There are so many nitty-gritty details. Right. Electoral rolls, so what is electoral roll, voter ID, right. Then election agent, election officer, returning officer, election. So there are various types of election observer. So some of the terminologies we have given in our notes also, and some terminology you can get from Laxmikant also, Laxmikant elections topic if you take, or Election Commission of India, this way. So some terminology you can get from Representation of People Act. So Representation of People Act, and there it is given. So that is how you will try to see various types of basics, let's say that. Our focus will be more as macro level, you can see this. If you go by dealing nitty-gritty prelims oriented, so it will be difficult to focus on macro aspect of this.